Greetings, it's Brother Ravana Noon. Today we are revisiting a theme that I did some time ago. To know, to dare, to will, and to keep silent. To know, to dare, will, and to keep silent. Why is this important? Well, as I said back then, I'm going to say it again. True knowledge is usually not found externally. It is usually not found among the masses. It's usually not what you find on Google or YouTube. A lot of that's philosophy. Not complete philosophy, half philosophy of what is filtered out or has been released to the public over the last thousands of years. Many people think they know a lot of this information or knowledge that has been regurgitated 80s, 90s, 2000, all the way to today. And this knowledge has gotten more global and it's expanded because of social media. But I'm sorry to tell a lot of y'all, that's not complete knowledge. That's half knowledge. And although the knowledge can be effective, can be powerful, it is still not complete knowledge. Now you're going to ask and say, Ravana, what are you saying? What do you mean? Ravana, you're tripping. Am I really? Well, let me just say this. One of the things I learned when I first really started walking any spiritual path, and I'm going to share that again for people who may not be aware or are new. My spiritual journey began in 1989. It's now 2020. You do the math. You tell me how many years I've been walking this path. My journey began a little before that. But what I mean it began then is when I took the steps to really get involved. KRS-One, Four Righteous Teachers, Rakim, King Sun, YZ, many 5% brothers and sisters sparked my curiosity to learn and know. So my first introduction to consciousness was through the 5%, Nation of Gods and Earth. That's why I always will give respect and props to Clarence 13X, Father Allah. And as I've grown older and traveled more, I could see that some of the teachings that Father Allah released was very left-hand path and orientation. After that, I got down with the Ansarullah with Asaid Isa al-Hadi al-Mahdi, who became known as Dr. York later on, but that was always his name. And I went inside and learned about Islam. Now, mind you, I was raised as a Seventh-day Adventist Christian. But then I went further into Islam and got down with the Ansarullah or Nubian Islamic Hebrews. Journeyed with them for years. Learned about Islam, learned about the Hebraic school. Not so much, but we went over it. Christianity, so forth. Dissected the Bible, the Quran, learned how to speak Arabic. That's why I can speak some Arabic, not a lot. I'm getting rustier because I don't practice, but I know a little bit of Arabic. I can understand it better than I can speak it. But this was what we were taught. to learn the language inside and out, to speak the language, to read the language, so that you could understand the Quran for yourself, so you could understand the Torah for yourself. Did that. This is before the twists and turns that led to Nawapianism and all the BS that came forth from that. So, went through all the schools that Dr. York put us through. But during that time, on my own, I was still studying the 5% Nation. I was part of the Universal Zulu Nation of Hip Hop. So I was studying the lessons that were released and given to us within the Zulu Nation. Infinity degrees, things of that nature. As well as I was part of the Astara, which is a secret society. In time, I started learning magic. Around 98 is when I got into Egyptian magic, and that's because at that time we were in the ancient Egyptian order and there was certain material released about magic, but not enough. So I started going deep into it, started collecting as much Egyptian magic books as there was, because Kemet was one of the first things I was always attracted to as a youth. So, time developed. Started developing my magic in 98. 2004, got initiated into Santeria. During that time, Rosicrucian, Freemasonry, you name it. I've walked a lot of these schools. When I was in college, I was a part of what was known as MAC, which was an Ohio State University, which is Men Acquiring Courage and Knowledge, MAC. We were affiliated with the Black Watch movement of the X Clan. Got to meet Brother Jay and some of these other individuals. So I was very much a part of the awakening movement for melanated people during that time. Went through a lot of these different organizations and secret societies, so to speak. What I learned is those that know don't say, and those that say don't know. Most of my videos, most of Brother Benitez's videos, a lot of individuals who've gone through these inner schools that you have to be initiated in, understand this philosophy. We only really teach philosophy on these videos. The inner teachings, we will never release to the public. We took a vow, an oath of secrecy, but we do share what we can from those teachings without violating our oath. But what you learn is when you go inside, it's a whole nother world than what is being taught outside. A lot of the knowledge that people have is really exoteric knowledge, external knowledge. It doesn't really deal with the esoteric or esoteric knowledge, which is inner knowledge. And that's unfortunate, because what I've learned is people are afraid of initiation. They're scared shitless of initiation. So many people will tell you, you do not have to be initiated. And I 100% concur. You do not. I'm going to say this over and over and over. You do not have to be initiated. But some of you all need to be initiated. I'm going to say it again. You do not need to be initiated for anything. But some of you all need to be initiated. Because you regurgitate the same information since the 80s and 90s. Just put a new definition on it. new description on it. It's the same shit. We were talking about the Anunnaki in the 80s and 90s. In the 90s, we were speaking about the Anunnaki. We were speaking about the reptilians. Which a lot of that information that was released was really coming from the Matrix books by Val Valerian. Which you can't even hardly find those books nowadays. They're out of print. I have them. But a lot of that information about reptilians, about Andromedans, about the Pleiadians, the Ashtar Command came from the Matrix books. These books were like this thick of volumes. I mean, this thick. And it had multiple volumes of these books. Written by Val Valerian, who some say was Val Thor. Whatever. Now, did the whole alien thing. Study that inside and out. People regurgitate information as if it's new. Just put a new description on it, new code. It's not new. It's the same information. It has no bearing on your true development. Knowing if you're a reptilian really has no bearing on your development. What it does is it gives you more information on your characteristics that you may have that may be what is described as reptilian. But the truth is, unless you do the practices behind developing those skills and parts of yourself, then it's just useless information or regurgitated information. I'm a reptilian, or I'm a descendant from reptilian. And how do you activate that reptilian brain? What steps do you take to tap into the primal part of yourself, which is tapping into the reptilian brain, to understand primal chaos in its origin anyways? What ritual do you perform to alter your state of consciousness to tap back into the primal part of yourself? See, sounds deep when you say these things, but now I'm going to hit you with, what steps are you taking to get there? News flash for some. Luciferianism is not something new I became a part of. Luciferian is something that since the 90s I've been a part of. Now, as far as involving myself with different secret societies or organizations that are Luciferian, that didn't happen till later, but studying the Luciferian doctrine is something I've been doing for years. That's not something new. You can metaphysics Luciferianism all you want. You could tell me it's 33 vertebrae. All that is metaphysics that we learned in the 80s and 90s. Dr. York used to put that in his books in the 80s and 90s. 33 steps. 32 associated with 32 degree Freemasonry, honorary 33rd degree. The 32 steps to the 33rd, climbing Jacob's ladder. When it reaches the 33rd, it reaches the pineal gland, which causes illumination. Sounds nice. Question is, how do you climb the vertebrae? And are you using the Ida Pingala? Meaning, you're activating the Ida the Pingala. And which channel are you climbing? Are you going up the Sushumna? Or are you going up the different pathways that are forbidden or not really talked about? Are you activating the Pingala, the masculine, or the Ida, the feminine? And which serpent are you activating first? And what do you do when Samael, Lucifer, offers you the poison? Do you run from the poison or do you accept the poison? See, these are some of the things that we do not and will not discuss in public, because if people take that information and try to apply it, they can hurt themselves. They really could. Because people think Kundalini awakening is a glorious process. Bullshit. To awaken your Kundalini, to awaken that draconian current, is a painful process many more times than it is glorious. So why do I say to know, to dare, will, and keep silent? Let's go further into that. This is coming from the Luciferian Order. Level 1 document, The Luciferian Order, by Lucian Black. Very good brother. Today, the squanders of secrets are many. Selling for profit the theories and basic fundamentals of a sacred science that takes a lifetime to perfect. A lifetime, people. This is not a process that happens overnight. This is not a process because you had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening that makes you all of a sudden enlightened. It was spontaneous. The goal is, how do you keep it? How do you keep the Kundalini awakened? How do you keep it raised up? How do you keep it rising to your pineal gland at will? Not spontaneous, accidental, but at will, rising to the pineal gland and spreading its wings, becoming that draconian current, alive and awakened, bringing forth Lucifer, the enlightened one that came from the cave of darkness. How do you do this consistently, not accidentally, not happenstance? See, to do this process over and over consistently takes a lifetime. Sometimes to master it takes a lifetime. Don't fool yourself just because you did it once or twice. Then if someone asks you to do it now, it may be difficult for you to do it. So don't delude yourself and think you're a guru now or some magnificent, awakened, wise one. To really get to that level takes time. Takes years to get to that level. Let me explain why. I was young once. Duh, people forget I was young once. I started learning at 18 years old, being influenced in the mid 80s with Rakim and Karis when I was 16, 15, 16, 17. Finally at 18, developed enough courage to find out more. And I thought I knew everything when I was 18, 19, 20, 21. I thought I had all this knowledge. I had books upon books. I keep telling y'all, if I show y'all how many books I have, there's a lot of books. I have 3 bookshelves in here. One huge one and 2 smaller ones, but they're all full from top to bottom. I have a lot of books in here. I've studied everything you could think of. Everything. But that is just book knowledge. It's good to have knowledge and information. But experiences develop wisdom. Experiences develop wisdom. So at 18, 19, 20, 21, how much experience do I really have in life? Sometimes we're just coming out of our mama's or daddy's or our family's house, and we're still not independent. We still don't know what it's like to pay our own bills, have a mortgage, pay rent, pay your car note, things of that nature. Some people don't have that or have not experienced that yet. You're still learning about relationships. You're still learning sex. Not just the art of sex, which is what many people practice, the science of sex as well. Combining the two takes time. Learning how to create a circular loop of energy to cultivate your seed takes time. Takes years to really learn to master that. creating that energy loop within your own body. Learning the bandolocks and mastering the bandolocks, 3 levels of bandolocks, or the 3 sections of the bandolocks, takes time. Sure, you can know it, you can find the information, you can have read it, but now practice. That experience over time, you may fail, you may succeed, leads to wisdom. Experiences leads to wisdom. And as a young buck, I used to think I knew it all, but it took me years to really develop wisdom because the experiences were lacking. As I went through more experiences, the more I was able to understand why knowledge doesn't totally become power until you gain the wisdom behind that knowledge, which only comes by way of experiences. Many of these people are promising the masses the secrets that can instantly transform their life forever. This is one of my problems with this conscious community that I was in for many years as well, is that they promise you that they have secrets to your life that can transform you forever. That they have all this knowledge and information that you need to get from them and only them. Notice how it's always only them. No, it's not only them. It's not only me. It's not only Beniti. It's not only Michael W. Ford. It's not only Bobby Hemmett. It's not only these people. No, and no. I'm going to say it again. No one has these secrets that's going to transform you forever. And if they do have the secrets, which some of them do, they're going to make you go through a trial, a test, and go through many tribulations to prove that you're worthy to receive the secrets. See, the problem with many people is they don't understand. These secrets are not just given freely. You have to be proven worthy to receive these secrets. Pythagoras was rejected by the mystery schools in Kemet when he first came around. For one, they considered his ass too arrogant. For two, they felt that he didn't have enough experiences in his life to receive the secrets. So they sent him away, and he came back years later to receive the secrets. At that time, he was ready. They opened the mystery schools to him and gave him some knowledge. He went on to develop certain things from that knowledge, but never shared all of what he received. Shameful part of this is that many of these individuals in the conscious community will pump Kemetic knowledge, but then diss the Rosicrucians, who've been on the scene a lot longer than a lot of these fools. And they will diss the Rosicrucians and call them this and whatever the hell they want, which I'm still a part of the Rosicrucian to this day. And I can tell you from being inside there for years, much of the information that some of these Kemetic fools and conscious community regurgitates comes from the Rosicrucians. Unfortunately, they never stood in there long enough to understand that there's even more information, more knowledge, more exercise, more development to all of that. So, however, what they are selling are only partial truths of what is known as the Magi, as the Opus Magnum. Again, what they are selling is only partial truth of what is known by the Magi as the Opus Magnum, the great work. It is a sacred science that requires dedication and a relentless pursuit The sacred science is a lifelong pursuit of self-mastery. Mastering the mysteries of the universe is a passion for understanding and unifying the secret science of universal truths within one's own existence. That's very juicy. Very juicy information. A lot of these people give you partial truths, but they don't have the total truth. And unfortunately, some of you are scared shitless to be initiated. I'm not telling you, and I keep saying this, you do not have to be initiated at all. But I'm going to just share an insight of why I choose to be initiated, of why I chose to go down those paths, just so you know. Because I was tired of partial truths, and I wanted to know things for myself. See, Ravana Noon got tired of following and listening to people and being part of these conscious circles and organizations. I got tired of that external knowledge bullcrap. Ravana said, I'm going inside of these schools, of these orders, of these mysteries, and I'm going to find out for myself what secrets they have, if there are any secrets. And I can tell you some of these orders do not have secrets. But I went inside to find out what secrets they have. What do they know that the public doesn't know? Some have secrets. A lot of them don't. I'm going to be honest with you. But I went inside for myself because I'm going to find out. And I'm not going to let anything stop me. Race, nationality, creed. None of that stuff is going to stop me from getting the knowledge for my growth and development. And I'm going to share those that are with me and been loyal to me and walking with me for years. I share those secrets that I can with them. Or I'll share with them that they should get down as well. So that we can have a discourse and dialogue as we both journey inside certain these schools. I wasn't about sitting on the sidelines, waiting to find out, waiting to hear things. Oh, is this true? Is this not? This. Fuck that. That wasn't me. Listening to someone pop off an hour, 2-3 hours, like they swear they know it all. And I'm like, damn, I've heard all this like a million times since I was 18 or 19. I've heard it from Dr. Phil Valentine, Bobby Hemmett, Dr. Delbert Blair, on and on and on. I've heard the same information for years and years. Then I sit back and watch, same information, just repackaged. Then I started finding out where this information came from. And I said, I'm going inside those places to get that knowledge. Screw anything else. And going through there and being tried, tested, and proven, and understanding what it is to be a rough ashlar and to be made a perfect ashlar. And to be made a perfect ashlar, you have to take that ashlar, that rough stone, and chisel away with hits and strikes and cuts. You start understanding why people do not want to be initiated. I'm going to be honest with you. Why many people are afraid to be initiated, I don't care what they tell you externally, is because they're scared shitless of what happens inside of those lodges, those temples, and those sacred schools. They're afraid of the initiations that they must undergo, that not only test what you think you know, they test your fortitude, they test your stamina, they test your mental strength, they test your willpower. Unfortunately today, many of these so-called gurus or self-proclaimed masters or teachers are failing us. They're failing us in every which way. And the problem is when they start to fail you, they say, "Oh, the reason why you're failing is because you don't really believe. You don't really see the vision." Nah, fool. You just giving a bunch of BS and regurgitating that information over and over and over and over, and you expect me to believe your nonsense? Please. So to will, to dare, to know, and to keep silent. In Latin, it is vide, are, vole, tasse. To know, to dare, to will, to keep silent. This is an ancient creed that the Magi have known for thousands of years. What was once called high magic was only privy to the priesthood. You had to be a part of the priesthood to get this knowledge and information. So yes, comedic knowledge is available and it's out there, but y'all fools must be mistaken if you think that's 100% all of the comedic knowledge out there. Sorry, it's not. Some of that information will never be released to the public. Some of that information is kept within the hallowed halls of certain temples or orders. And they're not going to release that to the public ever. You're going to have to decide whether you want to go inside to get this mystery, get these teachings, or you're just going to be on the sideline forever claiming to know, or really you're going to find out and know. Now, I got much love from my friends on social media. I got much love for a lot of people. I don't agree with everything people say. I've had guests on my show and I don't co-sign everything they say. I'm just being real. I don't. I think for myself. I do for myself, and I walk my own path. And I have those within my inner circle that we share and exchange dialogues on our experiences and our different orders or organizations or temples that we're walking through. But yet and still, they're their own individual, their own master. I am my own individual, I'm my own master. But we come together and share at the table for our development, for our understanding. But people I've had on my show, a lot of them, I just will never co-sign what they teach, what they believe. A lot of it is hogwash bullshit. Just keep it real. Those days are over. And that's why when you have ever seen some of my videos and I have guests, sometimes I sit really quiet. The reason I sit quiet is because I'm burning inside to want to share things, but I won't. Because I understand this. To know, to dare, to will, and to keep silent. Sometimes it's best to just keep silent and let them keep speaking and talking as if they know. So a lot of times when my guests are in there, I just stay silent. The elect were dedicated, initiated into the secret societies, and thereby proven worthy and well qualified to attain the secrets and hidden knowledge of the sacred sciences. Today, even as it was then, few are found worthy to attain the real secrets of the sacred science. And that I can attest to. Many people claim to know. But have you really been tried, tested, or proven? I don't mean debates. Debates is a bunch of bullcrap to me. Let me explain to you why debates are bullcrap. It's one man, usually it's men, one man against another. One wants to say, I know more than you. At the end of the day, it's irrelevant. Really, it's irrelevant how much more you know than the next man or woman. I know people who may know less, but are more well-rounded and developed individuals because what they know, they applied. They applied into their life and developed themselves to a greater level than before. Than someone who claims to know everything and they're all effed up in their life. Just keep that in mind. I don't hate people. I don't go out attacking no one. If I say things on this video or any other video and you find it personally affecting you and it makes you upset, that's an issue you must address within yourself. Because I don't personally attack any one person. I generally speak about the hogwash bullcrap that is being spoken about in general. So if the shoe fits, by all means wear it. And if you have an issue with me for saying that, by all means address yourself before you come checking me and try to attack me. Check yourself before you come attack me. Let me tell you why I say that. If you have a problem with something I said or it strikes you and causes a rift within you, then maybe you need to check yourself before you come to me, because something I said is resonating with you that is reflecting within you about something about yourself you don't like, and you just projecting it onto me. So before you come addressing me, check yourself, please. Check yourself why you feel like you even got to respond to something I say. Is it your ego making you respond? I'm not talking about the true ego. I'm talking about the false ego. Is it the false ego that's making you respond to make you feel like you're superior or you have some higher level of knowledge? So you have to respond to what I'm saying? That shows where you're at. I don't need to go tit for tat for you. I know what I know. I've walked through what I walked. I've been tried, tested, and proven many things in my life and still going forth, developing myself every day. That's all I care about. What you do in your life, I don't care. Who you screw in your life, I don't care. What you think you know, I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I live a rounded, well-rounded life, an enjoyable life. You think I really care what you think about me? Oh my God, they said this about me. Oh, I don't know you, and I don't care to know you, and I don't want to know you, and I don't ever want to know you. Just know this. You cross the line with disrespect, I will destroy you. There is no questions asked. Period. And I say that over and over, and some of y'all going to keep finding out. You keep testing me, you're going to find out many different ways. There's 3 ways we can handle this, and I will handle it every 3 ways. Outside of that, leave me the F alone. I don't have time to be on social media every day. Posting. It's all good. You could be on social media posting knowledge all day. When the fuck are you working on yourself? Is the only question I will ask you. The knowledge is good. It's good. People need it. But when are you working on yourself? If all you do every 5 seconds is post something on social media, when the hell are you working on yourself? When? Oh, don't tell me what. You're multitasking, you're meditating and pressing the keyboard at the same time and chanting Om. Fuck out of here, please. What are you doing to tap into that subconscious mind? To the unconscious part of yourself? What are you doing to confront your weaknesses? Your programming and your issues? I don't have time to be on YouTube every day. I don't have time to be on social media every day. I focus my time on self-development and work with my loved ones and those in my inner circle. Those are my Patreon people. The members on Patreon. We're working on there. We're doing some work on there. We're developing things on Patreon. We got a mentorship program for those who want to learn how to be a lecturer or teacher and to learn these different magical systems of the left-hand path inside and out. We're developing. We're releasing information on Patreon that we will never release on YouTube. That's why you become a member of Patreon, to get that information that is a little more than you would get on here, to help in your development. I don't have time to be out here spewing forth all this information when I can be working with people who are really trying to develop themselves and master themselves. That's how I feel. I'm sorry if you get offended by that or you take it personally, but if you're really serious, you'll get down with some real work. Real development. Shadow work class. That was a success. Many people enjoyed it. It was fun, but I don't care about fun. All I care about is that they were developing and growing within themselves. That they did the work. That they're the God over their life because they're doing the work. I'm just giving you some things that can spark that power within. That's it. That's what this is about to me. So, some of you all do need to be initiated. I'm glad that you know a lot of knowledge and information. I'm a knowledge junkie too. I got another books coming today through Amazon. I order books every week. I done study everything from aliens to the left-hand path, the tantra, to mind control, and everything in between, and more and more and more. But if you really want to develop yourself, just take the steps to go further, man. Stop listening to these people who tell you that you don't need to do this, you shouldn't do that, just come take my class. Bullshit. It's bullshit, people. That all you need is this herbal pack, or all you need is that. Stop it. All you need is to trust yourself and go inside and get the mysteries if you really want it. But you don't need to be initiated. You don't. But if you're sick of standing and sitting on the sidelines, then maybe you should be initiated and go further to get the mysteries and the secrets. And what the secrets really are, it's not some grand mysterious secret of the universe. No, the real secret is you. You, and you. And the powers you possess and how to develop them. That's the real secret. Here's something else that's really interesting. I've said this kind of in some of my other videos before. It has long been validated that the most profound truth can be given to the masses, but they will be unable to receive its truth until they are really ready. I could sit on top of a building yelling all the secrets, and people are just going to absorb it. But will they understand it? No, not till they're ready or have done the work to develop it. Through trials, through tribulations, through experiences. Unfortunately. Here's another thing. King Solomon chose the wisdom over the wealth, but he became the wealthiest man alive at that time. Now, King Solomon's not real, so do not ask me, Ravana, you believe in King Solomon? No, King Solomon is more like a rewritten story of Ramesses. Okay? I'm going to just say it like it is. However, he chose the wisdom over the material, but still received all the material in the world. One of the wealthiest or the wealthiest person alive at that time. Why? It's not because some mysterious spooky god said, I'm going to hook you up with all this financial gain and jewels and temples and all this because you chose wisdom and I just think you're dope for that. No. It's because through the knowledge and wisdom gained, Solomon was able to understand how to become wealthy. Materially wealthy. Right? To know thyself, knowledge is power. To know thyself is the attainment of personal power. Personal power. Develop your personal power. How do you develop your personal power? Shadow work is the first step. To go within that subconscious, unconscious part of yourself, to confront your weaknesses, your insecurities, your issues, your programming, and to transmute those weaknesses into a strength if it can be, or to totally destroy those weaknesses that can't be transmuted and destroy it forever. To know every part of yourself is to know you're good, bad, ugly, and beautiful, and embrace it all and work it. That's how you become powerful. Personal power. It's not making excuses for your lack of power. It's not making excuses for your lack of wealth. It's not making excuses for your issues and your failures. It's taking control of your life, confronting every part of your life, and empowering yourself through confronting that. Personal power will develop from those things. Without personal power, one cannot be influential in attaining their desires or goals. Learning to develop the willpower, something the Sith do from day one when they are acolyte. As a Sith, they are acolyte before they are an apprentice, is to begin the development of their willpower. And they go through tests to develop their willpower, physical tests to develop their willpower. The Sith challenges, the Sith classes I teach, we help develop our willpower by mental, physical, and spiritual challenges. Develop those willpowers. Really develop that willpower. Lead you further in life. That willpower will help you attain your desires and goals and manifest your desires and goals. In ancient Kemet, the belief was all thought emanated from your solar plexus. It raised up from the solar plexus and emanated towards your mind. Now, the solar plexus, soul, S-O-U-L, soul, and soul, S-O-L, same word, emanates from the power of your personal sun, your personal light. Okay, that black flame within ignites the solar region of you, the creative part of you, where your willpower is developed, just within the solar plexus. It is the heart that fuels ambition and passion. Peace is a lie. There is only passion, is how the Sith code begins. Because Sith understand that passion is the fuel that emanates from the solar plexus and from the black flame. They understand that passion is what leads me to conquer myself and conquer my enemies and conquer my desires and goals, because it's fueled by my passion. Peace is a lie because it leads to stagnation in the sense of what peace is taught as today. You can never truly have total peace in a society and world that is bent on your destruction, or to create you into a slave or zombie. So you must fuel yourself from your solar plexus outward with passion emanating from there to obtain total power over yourself and power to obtain your goals and desires. Unfortunately, this is very true. Fear is the most debilitating, crippling factor in life. And most people do not obtain their goals and desires because of fear. Fear cripples them. The fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of taking the steps even towards that goal cripples people. Fear must be overcome. You must overcome all your fears, even if it's fear of a spider or spiders. You must confront those fears. You must not be controlled by fears. A Sith confronts their fears and overcomes and masters those fears. And then they learn how to use those fears for their advantage. To live your passion, you require courage, effort, persistence, and knowledge beyond your current level. Therefore, the grandeur or the delusional part that we consider or create about ourselves is what stops many of us from doing the great work. See, some of us think we know too much and never realize that as much as we know nothing. Listen, before I got into the left-hand path, I thought I knew a lot of shit. I had studied, I had read, I had did lectures for years. I came from Nawapianism, Freemasonry. I did all this. I thought I was hot shit. African traditions did it. And when I came into the left-hand path, I realized as much as I know nothing. And I always maintain humble in that sense that as much as I think I know nothing. I'm always willing to learn. Always learning from others. But if you regurgitating that same bullshit, I'm going to shut it off and just keep it moving. But I'm always learning. I always maintain that sense to be humble enough to learn, to study, to grow. I don't know it all. I always remind myself, as much as I don't know it all. And I'm always striving to learn more every day. But that delusional part of ourselves that thinks we know all this knowledge and information, and I don't need to know more, and I don't need to be initiated, and I don't need to do this and that. That's the part that keeps you from really developing to higher levels. Learning the truth of oneself, I'm sorry to tell y'all people, is not an easy task. Even if you've done some shadow work, you understand this. You start at the surface, you'll go a little bit further down, you'll pull up some stuff that you forgot, and pull up some emotional things, pull up some trauma. But as you keep going further down into the abyss, that shit will scare you shitless about yourself. The shit about yourself that we do not acknowledge or ignore or have buried deep inside of us will scare you shitless when it comes up. And you'll be like, whoa, that's me. Yeah, it's all you, and you have to embrace that. But it will shock you. It may even scare you about yourself. But you gotta do it. If you really want to master yourself, you gotta confront every part of yourself. And maintain a level of being humble to yourself. Stop thinking you know it all. You don't. That nonsense is what messes people up. Stop it. Stop it, people. Always realize as much as you know is as much as you don't know. This is what I tell people when you come into the left-hand path. I had to learn to do this. Your cup is full, or your bottle is full of water. Okay? And in order to obtain new level, a new philosophy, and learn new practices and rituals, You will have to literally empty this bottle out so you can learn all this new information and practices and rituals and way of being. You have to literally empty this out. Because if not, and if your bottle is already full and you try to add more to it, it's just going to overflow and nothing is going to remain. Nothing is going to absorb of new information because it's jumbled with all this old information. So you literally got to empty it out. You got to literally let it go. Unfortunate, but this is stuff that we have to really start focusing if we're going to develop ourselves to another level. To dare. In order to be self-empowered, not only must one know, but one must also dare to be empowered by the true self. Some will say the higher self, the solar self, the demonic self, the true self. As mentioned earlier, fear, indecisiveness, and doubt are the primary inhibitors of manifesting one's higher self. Indeed, the higher self is an unbelievable state of being, and to even attempt such an ideal, one will be sure to meet failure, loneliness, and ridicule along the path to greatness. It's unfortunate, for within each human being is the potential for greatness, yet we hold ourselves back because we fear the ridicule of the profane and the weak. We fear failure. We are unsure of ourselves, untrusting of our ability. This is why most people choose a path of safety, acceptance, and compliance with normality. This is why the left-hand path is not for everyone. And I'm going to keep repeating this over and over. This is not for everyone. This path is not for everyone. So stop thinking that this path is for you. I don't care if you dibbled and dabble in the left-hand path. You put your toes, your 2 feet in. The further you go along, you'll find out if this is really for you. Because you're only dibble and dabbling. As you really go in here, it's not for the weak. The meek. It's not for those people. And you'll find out if it's for you or not. But walking this path is not for the weak. It's not for the meek. It's not for those who fear. You will have to confront every part of that within yourself. I mean, when you go through the gateways, through what some would call hell, end up in hell, and you see what is devouring you and what is causing a change or shift within you as you're being devoured, you'll start to understand this is not an easy job, yo. This is not an easy task. This is some serious shit to face yourself. I'm going to the deepest, darkest parts of myself that I didn't even know existed. That's why people have to understand this is not for everyone. This path is not for everyone. Stop it, people. Confront yourself and address yourself honestly and say, is this really for me? And if so, why am I really doing it? Because if you're not doing it to develop yourself, master yourself, and empower yourself, then why are you doing it? Because you want to be dark and mysterious? Because you want to be an asshole? You can be an asshole anywhere. Why are you really doing it? Finally, let me say to Will. Without self-knowledge, without a daring spirit, and without the will to act, you will continue to manifest dissatisfaction with life. Let me. This is so interesting here, so deep. You have to have self-knowledge. The self-knowledge, not knowing, you're just not knowing what race, nationality you're from, what ethnicity, what your culture. That's really like the foundational basis where you begin at. Okay, I started there. I had to learn what is it to be Puerto Rican. I had to learn about my African ancestry, when many times that's shunned amongst certain Puerto Ricans with their ignorance. I'm not black. You're a stupid fool if you think you're not black. What would Puerto Rico and where would Puerto Rican culture be without Africans? Where would it be? Imagine no congas, right? Which comes from the word Congo, by the way. No congas, no timbales, no bongos within your music. Where would you be? Where would you be without the clave that keeps the rhythm, that keeps the timing and the beat and the rhythm alive in salsa? Where would you be? Where would you be without the dance, the salsa dance, which really is a form of African dance? Where would you be without the flavor that is brought into the cuisine, the food of Puerto Rico, without the African? Where would you be? Where would you be? How boring would you be as a people if you didn't have that root within your culture? I had to learn that. Where would you be without the usage and the flavor that Africans brought into the Spanish language? There's over 200 words and more found every day that are utilized that are African words within the Puerto Rican Spanish dialect. Where would you Puerto Rican woman be without the blessing of the DNA of African women? Those hips that you Puerto Rican women have, where do you think that comes from? It surely ain't Caucasians. Most of those hips, small waist and hips, comes from African DNA. Where would your booty be or your butt be without the African DNA? Where would your brown skin tone, light brown to dark brown skin tone, be without the African DNA? Tainos didn't have culo. I'm sorry. Taino did not have booty like African women. And yes, Taino's very strong DNA in us. But unfortunately, I gotta say the truth. That comes from the African. Yeah, long curly hair. Where would that curly hair be without the African? Reggaeton, which really came from reggae español that began in Panama with El General and his people. And then Puerto Ricans grabbed onto it from dembow, the dembow of Shabba Ranks, and altered it and made it to what it is today, all coming from African people. Jamaicans are African people. Where would our reggaeton be without the African people? Where would our flavor and style of dressing be without the African people? Where would breaking be without African people? And then we came into it and developed breaking to what it is today. See, that's where I had to start. I had to identify my heritage. I had to identify the root of my African culture. The root. Yes, I was told about the Spaniards and the Tainos growing up, and the Africans were whispered. But yet my grandmother's African. There's no denying my grandmother's African. She's an African woman. I started there because that was the most shunned part of our culture. Then I learned more about the Tainos. The Spaniards were all forced upon us to learn everything about Spain, the language, the people, the this, the that. I got tired of learning about oppressors. I started there. But that's not the only part of self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is, why do I get triggered when somebody tries to tell me what to do? Self-knowledge comes from, okay, my trigger happens because I lack power and control. I feel like I lack power and control. Why do I lack power and control? Because that issue began when I was a young child, and my auntie was babysitting us, and she told me I had to listen to her, no ifs, ands, or buts, or she would tell my parents. She took away what power I was developing as a young child at that moment, and it left a impact on my mind that made me feel like I always have to struggle for power and control in my life. That's self-knowledge. Knowing what's the weakest part of yourself and how to either transmute that to strength, to make you more powerful, or just eliminate it. Self-knowledge is knowing why you really like what you like, and then some of the things that you think you like, where did it come from? And then finding out more of the things you suppress about yourself and why you, when it comes up, why do you like that? Why are you attracted to that? Things of that nature. That's self-knowledge. Learn how to be in the moment, meaning when the trigger occurs, not react as the same behavioral pattern you've created in your life, not to react the same way over and over and over to that trigger. That's self-knowledge. It's more than just knowing what race, nationality, ethnicity, culture, etc. you belong to. That's a good place to start. It's not all of it. Self-knowledge is much more than that. You must have a daring spirit. You must be willing to take chances. You must be unafraid to challenge yourself. I had to challenge myself to join some of these secret societies that people fear about them, so scared and really don't know shit about them. They just talking, regurgitating the same YouTube information that's been recycled for years, or some people wrote books because they got probably kicked out of the lodge and it felt like little hurt feelings. They felt like a little hurt sissy, so they had to write stuff negatively. No, please, that's not what I'm talking about. You have to have a daring spirit to say, I'm going knee deep into this. What comes, what comes. Let's bring it. Bring it on. Let's do this. Taking risk. That's a daring spirit. And you have to have the willpower to act, to take action in your life. Stop sitting on the sidelines. Stop cheering or sitting on the sidelines watching a football game. When if you have the chance to be in the football game, get in it. You either become committed to making your own dreams and passions a reality, or you become enslaved to making someone else's dreams and passions a reality. We've repeated this over and over in our lectures and our classes. You either are a slave to someone or you are a master. Which one do you choose? In this society, there's only two positions, really. I don't care what they try to delude you to thinking. You're either a master or you're a slave. Which one are you going to be? Choose wisely. I know I chose to be a master over myself. And stop feeding your energy to everything outside of yourself, giving your power away to people that are just going to take it from you and use it for their benefit. Stop it. A weak sense of self has a weak intent of I will. A strong will is motivated by an internal control of personal power that has a clear direction and an inner knowledge. A weak will is made to act via external control and external influence. If you're weak, you will be easily manipulated by external things. Unfortunately, too many of our people are weak. This is why we get manipulated by the media, made emotional for every event that occurs. Cut it out. Lastly, to keep silent. Why? Because there is a power in silence. There's a Sufi proverb that goes like this. Silver is speech, silence is golden. Silver is speech, silence is golden. Once you have determined who you are by knowing thyself, tell no one. You don't got to go out there and say, yo, I'm Professor X. Yo, I'm Apocalypse. Yo, I'm Thanos. Yo, I'm a Titan. Yo, I'm this. Yo, I'm that. Yo, I'm Tahotep Ra Unefer Amun. Fuck that. Outside of this persona, outside of these YouTube classes, y'all don't know me. The ones who've had privilege to meet me and everything else, no, I'm not like what I am on here. I'm usually a quiet person. I'm observing everything. And I'm just watching, learning, and observing. Well, I'm silly, but I got to get to know you before I'm going to get silly. And kiki and ha-ha. I'm going to observe everything about you. Stop with the damn fucking, oh my gosh, yo. People do not need to know who you are. All y'all know is I'm Ravana Noon. I do lectures, walk the left-hand path, and I'm Luciferian. That's all y'all need to know. Those who we do the inner mysteries, the inner work, we actually do rituals, actually do some work. Those are the ones that get to know me. And we build a family. We build a connection. We build a social network. Just being real. Just act upon who you are. When you realize who you are and your power, act upon it. Empower yourself. Create the life you've always wanted. For actions speak louder than words. Once you acquire a daring spirit to manifest the unlimited potential of the higher self, speak not of it to anyone. Enough said. Like I said, most of this is philosophy. Those who really want to know, they'll go down to Miami at the end of the month and do rituals. Which I'm trying to go there at the end of this month, if I get the opportunity to. We'll do real rituals. We'll do real work. Not just talk about it, not just make videos. We do real work. At sometime this month, I'm going to do a necromancy ritual with those in the necromancy class here in Orlando. You will have to come out here to Orlando, and we're going to do a certain ritual in the graveyard. I'm not going to tell you what it is until you come. We're going to do real work. We're not just going to talk about it. We're going to do real work. And we've been doing real work for years now. All too often, the majority love to ramble on and on about what they want to do, what they are trying to accomplish, and why they are doing what they are doing. Instead of just doing the work and keeping silent about it. And let the fruits show your labor. This is why to know, to dare, to will, and keep silent is important. This is why I revisited this topic today. Again, much love to all of y'all out there. But you cross the line, you become my enemy. You're my enemy, I will destroy you. That's it, bottom line. No games played with people. But outside of that, I don't have time to even focus on that. All I do is focus on my success, my self-development, and my growth. Develop my business. I don't work for no one. I work for myself. I'm a master over myself. I mean what I say. I put into action what I say, and I show the results. I have real estate properties through our real estate investment company. We are working this. We're not just talking. I've told people many times, I do business consultations. If you want to be working your business strategies, business plans, talk to me. Most of y'all so caught up on being so spiritual that you forget about manifesting and integrating the physical part of your existence. You gotta have both. You gotta master the physical and the spiritual. You just can't go Spookville and master the spiritual and forget about your spirit and your physical. Nah, I've seen that. Been there, done that myself. And I learned the hard way. Nah, that's not true mastery. True mastery is mastering the physical and the spiritual. So, always remember, if you really want to know, you just may have to be initiated. I'm of the personal opinion some of y'all need to be initiated. But I will always tell you, no, you don't. If you don't choose to, you don't. That doesn't mean I'm telling you not to be initiated because I think you're hot shit, you're amazing, you're great, you know it all. No, I'm probably telling you that because I'm like, nah, don't do it because I can see you're fearful. I can see the cowardice in you. I can see all those things. So I'm going to tell you, nah, don't do it. Just don't choose to be initiated. Just keep being a coward, more or less. But if you really want to know some stuff, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Some of y'all should be initiated and get to find out some stuff. Really. I'm just keep it real with y'all. All right, y'all. Infernal blessings and infernal darkness to all. I'll see y'all soon. Check out my Patreon page. The link is in the right-hand corner. If you want to get more further information, uncensored information I would never put here on YouTube, check it out. It's not just me. I have many guests that speak on there. Demetrius Clark. I have Necro Cannon speaking on there. I'm being interviewed by different people. I'm gonna start interviewing people. We're gonna be doing rituals this month. The necromancy ritual I'm trying to do. I'm gonna let my people know this week in class when we're gonna do the necromancy ritual for those who live in Florida. We're gonna work this. Okay? The vampire magic class. This week's gonna be juicy. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. This week's gonna get juicier. Alright? Alright, y'all. Infernal blessings.